once again here on this fantastic and exhausting journey in the Army National Guard, particularly in the Officer Candidate School, also known as OCS. And as I have mentioned from my previous videos, I am currently now, what is this, my November IDT of Phase 2 for OCS. As I had mentioned last month, after I got done with October's IDT, this is the first actual full-on month of me being in actual leadership. Oh, sorry. As you guys can see, it's 6:30 in the morning right now. On my way to Los Alamitos to get picked up by the shuttle. I was just informed that the shuttles are running a little late, so obviously I'm going to be there probably earlier than usual. But like I said, it's always better to be there earlier than rushing. Especially, you know, when it comes to all this, it's just nice to try to enjoy some type of, you know, cruising ride that you want to go to. But besides that, as I mentioned, when it comes to this leadership, I got the XO position, which is the executive officer position. It's second in command of the, you know, the platoon, and you know, you're pretty much you know, the second in command of your whole entire platoon for OCS. And if you're doing like the traditional route that unfortunately I have to do, you will be in charge of not only your platoon, which is, you know, however many you guys are, but you will be in charge of the new phase that is just coming in. That way you're preparing them to, you know, get ready for Phase 1, and, you know, it all falls back on you. So I ended up having to be acting CO, which is a company commander, for about 3 days. My actual my peers, which is my buddy from that's a CO right now. He ended up having some family issues with illness and everything, but, you know, obviously as an XO, you have to be able to take over when, you know, it's like a chain of command. If that person is, you know, out and about and they can't do it for that period of time for some apparent reason, you know, you have to make sure that you're able to step up and take that leadership role and any type of role that's necessary. So I ended up holding the CO position for about 3 days. For the most part, it was okay throughout the month. I couldn't really complain until at the end, where I ended up having 3 people that were deciding to drop at the last minute, and, you know, all the paperwork that we had to do especially at the end, because, you know, we have to, you know, those that are planning on dropping, you know, they have to, you know, we have to do all the paperwork for them, and then it has to get passed on to our captains, our cadres, and they have to approve it. So it's not too bad for the most part. Where it gets really more complex is, I know our cadre expects us to do certain things that, you know, they're not even teaching us, or, you know, we're trying to learn from like our previous class, which the previous class that just recently graduated kind of, in a sense, screwed us, because, you know, they really didn't help us out as much. And the information that they provided, which is pretty hilarious, is, you know, they provided us with certain memorandums, certain memos, and certain reports that they got approved when they were doing it. But yet again, when we're trying to utilize that same information, ours are getting rejected for some reason and stuff like that, and it just becomes really chaotic. And it's like, you know, you're trying to pretty much train yourself and teach yourself on how to do something that, you know, we, for the most part, a lot of us never really have done, except if you're prior service, and even those that are prior service are also confused, which is the funny part. And then they mention that, you know, a lot of times they'll be mentioning that something was brought to our attention, and somehow we don't have the recollection of it. It's understandable if, you know, a few people don't recall that, But when it is literally your whole entire platoon that does not recall that, obviously it was never brought to our attention. So it gets to that point where you're like, I'm okay with them always saying that, everything's wrong, but when it comes to the point of what is going on, like how exactly would they like certain things to be, it gets kind of old after a while, because they'll tell us one thing, it gets approved, and then we do pretty much the same exact way the following time, and then now they want something different. So that was the most painful and stressful thing about this whole thing, this whole month. Luckily for this IDT, it shouldn't be overall too bad. We will see Sunday night when I'm driving back home, and I update you guys on that information. We don't have an actual written exam this month. However, we will be doing certain learning activities, tactical stuff that we have to start preparing ourselves for phase 3, for what they call the stick lanes, and being able to like pretty much write an op order. And it's pretty much right here. I pretty much keep a copy when I go to work, and in my car. It's called the flare. This is pretty much the stuff that you're going to be graded on. It is the Field Leadership Evaluation Report. As you guys can see, mine is like torn up like that. It's pretty easy to get a copy of them. They're online. So I have a few copies. That's why that one's all torn up, because obviously I put it in my pocket. When I have the time at work, I'll be studying it. When I'm in my vehicle, I'll be studying it as well. And it's just pretty much a checklist of everything that they want us to learn and know by the time we go to phase 3, because that's your checklist for your stick lanes. They want to make sure that you're aware of what's going on, and that you're pretty much meeting satisfactory on all of them. That way you're able to pass your stick lanes, and you're able to graduate and become and be commissioned as a lieutenant. Other than that, as I mentioned, it shouldn't be too bad of an IDT, other than learning more about the flare. And sorry, we call it a flare. It's called the Field Leadership Evaluation Report. So if I say flare, that's what that is. That's mainly what we're going to be doing today for Friday. Once we get there, probably most likely a little smoking here and there, and then tomorrow it should be more relaxing. For the most part, it shouldn't be too intense, because it's good. We have our PHA, which is, I believe it stands for Physical Health Assessment. It's typically held once a year, which is really surprising, because I don't know why we're doing it again. I understand phase 0 doing it, but for us, we literally just did ours in April or May, and that was before we left to Alabama. Now we're redoing it again, so I guess now it's twice a year. So that's pretty much all we're doing all day on Saturday. Most likely a little bit of smoking there, here and there as well. Documentation that had to be completed from the PHA that had to be done on your own at home. It's not too long. You're just pretty much filling in the blanks and your health assessment, your health history. That's pretty much it on that portion. For Sunday, nothing really. Sunday morning, we have our OPAT, which is another fitness exam. Pretty similar to the ACFT, except we're not doing so much. The OPAT only consists of 4 things, which is a running back and forth, deadlifting, throwing a medicine ball in a seated position, and a long jump. And that's where what we will be doing Sunday morning. And then obviously from then, we'll prepare and get our breakfast. And that's pretty much it for that day. We most likely will get our smoking also on Sunday and go from there. Other than that, I have nothing else, guys. It is going to be the daylight savings time, so I'm going to be stuck over there for an extra hour, which hopefully I get an extra hour of sleep, which I doubt. But, we will see. Other than that, I do predict getting smoked a majority of the time on Sunday, and going from there. And hopefully, throughout the weekend, hopefully everything works out well, where I do pass my leadership role as an XO, and at least have that go on for this, graduation requirement. As I said, this is the main reasons why I wanted the accelerated portion, because I would have been done, not had to worry about any of this, and now I'm stuck doing this for a whole month as a leadership thing, rather than just doing it for 24 hours at if I did the accelerated route and stayed in Alabama. But other than that, guys, I'll catch you guys later. What's going on, everyone, and welcome back. And as you guys noticed, for November's drill for OCS, I was finally able to complete it. I was fortunate to also get a go again as an executive officer or XO in my position, so I'm excited for that. That was pretty much anything that was graded. As I told you guys earlier, or on Friday when I was starting to make the video, I was supposed to also have the OPAT. The OPAT got canceled or rescheduled for, I believe now it's going to be next month for December's drill. But other than that, like Friday, we showed up. We got a nice little smoking for the most part, but nothing too bad. Saturday came around. It was pretty much a very mellow day, because we ended up doing our PHA, our physical health assessment test, which is something that's supposed to be done annually. But the reason why it took so long, because most of the time it's supposed to only take probably between 4 to maybe 6 hours. But the reason it took so long, and we really didn't get anything started till like almost 12:30 in the afternoon. And the reason is, I don't know what happened, but apparently our files went somewhere else. It was a huge mess that was above my pay grade, so it's whatever. But majority of stuff we had to do by hand. Obviously, as a candidate, we're technically now falling all the way down to the back, because other people want to go first and they want to get their things over with. Obviously, that's going to also include cadre. And of course, since we pretty much did that all throughout the day, they got upset, and obviously we got a nice little smoking in there, or correctable action. So it wasn't too bad. I ended up having to be acting company commander or acting CO for a short period of time, because my actual buddy that was the CO, he said that he got some type of injury, so he had to go see the medics. So while he went to go see the medics, I had to do the acting CO role, which consisted of, after we got done, we had to form up. We marched to the dining facility, and then I had to do all that, dining facility procedures. It's it is what it is, but I did it. It went well. After that, we went back to our PHAs, completed that. So it wasn't too bad of a smoking for the most part. But then Sunday rolled around where we were supposed to have our OPAT. As I mentioned, we were supposed to get what's it called, the OPAT going, but that got rescheduled. We ended up doing a little bit more classroom work that we started on Saturday night right after our PHA. They just like breezed by it so fast. We did a little bit in the morning, got some breakfast, and that's where the fun began. Got more smoking into it. I would say, I believe it was close to about 3 hours of non-stop, just exercising and doing all this stuff. For the most part, it is what it is, but after that was done, our OPAT obviously got rescheduled or canceled for that month and got rescheduled for possibly next month of December. And after we got our smoking done for about those 3 hours, we did a little bit of classroom work for preparing ourselves for our op orders, preparing ourselves for our stick lanes that we will be getting ready for phase 3. So now we're slowly progressing into that phase to get ready for phase 3 and making sure we're able to do op orders, making sure we're able to pass our stick lanes and go from there. Obviously, it was also somewhat of a good day since it was the what's it called, daylight savings time. So we were able to kind of coop about 30 minutes of extra sleep for the most part. But other than that, not too bad. But it felt like a very long day for Sunday due to all that stuff that we were doing, getting our rear-ended smokes and getting our correctable actions and stuff. But it felt like a very long day. But other than that, it was very well. After we got done with that, like I said, more classroom work, getting ready for phase 3 preparation. While we were in class, that's when I got called out so I could do my my out briefing as a executive officer or XO, and that's where we speak to either the captain or an NCO that's evaluating us, and they tell you what you did well, what you need to improve. They give you what for us in California, it's yellow cards, and you'll complete them by the time the month is over, and it's like assessments or topics that you would like to call them. Every leadership role will have them. They're all mainly different depending on your cadre that's going to evaluate you. And for me, he told me that I got all five goes. I didn't miss one. He did say to kind of improve more on the op orders, which is fully understandable because I mentioned it. I've never really done an op order, so that was my main thing. But I still got to go on my all 5 of my tasks. After that, the person that took over for me, she was met with the captain. He gave her the same brief that I pretty much got last month, which what they expect of you, your topics or the assessments that they're going to be evaluating you, and then what they require and what they're going to be evaluating you on. So those are the main things. After that, it was pretty much she got released. We both left, started cleaning up the barracks, the tac shack, the classrooms, making sure that we're getting ready to get on out and have fun for at least another month and go from there. And other than that, it was very, for me, I would say it was very mellow, very chill month. I'm glad to get my go for my leadership role. Now, I just have to continue, improving everything and helping my peers get their passing or their go, so that way we can continue this process together and go to phase 3. As they mentioned, your leadership role counts in phase 2. As I mentioned, I did get a go in phase 1, but like I always say, phase 1 does not count. You can get a go, you can get a no-go, but phase 1 does not count. You need a passing go on your leadership role in phase 3, so you can move on to phase 2, so you can move on to phase 3. So that's one less thing I have to worry about, but I do have to still worry about it because I got to make sure that my peers are able to get their passing leadership roles. But other than that, guys, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, please drop down your comment down below. If you want me to go further in depth in anything, such as my executive officer position, any leadership roles, anything in my assessment, anything about this drill, about the OPAT, about the PHA, the physical health assessment, let me know. I always look forward to being able to help you guys out, answer you guys' questions, and going from there. But other than that, I will see you guys next time.